All right, good evening, football fans, and welcome to this stunning early start to you could say, a Heart of Lakes Conference classic against the old Heart of Lakes Conference. Warroad Warriors in town, ready to face on your home Pelican Rapids Vikings. Vikings won the toss, or elected to receive, or one way or another, the home team is going to get the ball to start things here. Kicking things away for Warroad is going to be number 10, Parker Mose, and he's going to do a little bit of a ground squib kick. McLean Hovland catches it here at the 32-yard line, rolling forward just across the 40 down to the 42. 10-yard return on a short kick. We'll see how that starts things off here for the Vikings as they run out in the orange pants, black jerseys. Warroad in the white jerseys, black pants here on what is quite a bright day still. Friday night lights not yet. We started at 6 p.m. simply for the lengthy bus ride that this Warroad team endured to get down here. 3.5 hours, all of it. And the Warriors here ready to try and knock off these Pelican Rapids Vikings. Both teams at 2-4 coming into the season. Grady Larson, one of the junior veterans on the team, hands off to Bricker Haugard. He's met in the backfield hard there by number 25, Connor Lund. Man, Lund, the 5'11 sophomore, 195 pounds. I think that was at the beginning of the season. He might be at 215 now. Strong brick house inside, dropping Haugard in the backfield. So nice play by the Warroad defense to start things off here. And for the Vikings, trying to establish a ground game early. Larson, the experienced quarterback here, a lot of weapons all around him. He'll hand it off again. Bricker Haugard, this time with some space, makes a man miss, running through, spins out of a tackle across midfield, pushes right towards the line again, and he might fall forward for a gain of about 15. He emphatically gets up out of the pile alongside his lineman, number 54. That is, better take a look at my program. It's even hard to know the home team here. Thank you, Coach Beachy. Levi Hillica, sophomore there, getting some starts at the line. He's pressing forward with some emphasis. After the line got Bricker Haugard some space, he took advantage. They're now at Warroad's 47-yard line. This time, one more time to Haugard. Bobbled the exchange with Larson momentarily, and there's another loss on the first down. Make it 2nd and 13. Falling back 3 yards is Bricker Haugard. Seemed like a little bit of a bobbled exchange there. Larson got it to him in his breadbasket area. Haugard got it down to his thighs. Very fortunate for the Vikings to not have any kind of fumble there. Well done. They'll live to fight another down. For this Warroad team, mentioned, they come into this year 2-4 on the season. They have had a very similar season to the Vikings here, playing some really tough opponents. They have a win against Hawley, which is notable because Hawley beat the I'm just kidding. They took it. They'll make it 4th and 18, and this will probably be a punt. They'll probably take the field possession game at this point and pin Warroad back. And they'll set it at the 43. And it will be Larson standing in what looks like shotgun formation. I suppose you may as well throw a Hail Mary instead of sit there and not get a first down. Torres catches it. He pushes forward. Can he get the first down? And yes, he can. He needed the 25, got down to the 6 or the 21. Wow, they needed 18. They got 22, and the Vikings all over this. And they're going to spot it at the 23. What a play. And for the Vikings, I'm sure they're thinking, get it down there. A punt might be a touchback by then that would be in the same position. And they're at that point. They're 2-4 in the season. They got to build some confidence. This is a very good Warroad team that came to town. They're going to make a statement early. They fake the handoff to Eisman, who is sweeping right. He'll go straight forward. Larson carrying it with one hand, quite nonchalantly, I might add. And he does not fumble, and he tucks it tight upon contact and falls through forward to the 11-yard line. Make it the 10. Looks like it's another first down. And are they going to pick up the chains? Are they going to set the chains down on this? Or is there a potential that he could gain more than the... Yes, they'll set the chains down. 1st and goal right on the 10-yard line. Larson, empty set. No one in motion. He rolls out to his right, looking for a couple. Gets it forward to Torres. Torres drives through a couple defenders, reaches for the pylon. Touchdown, Pelican Rapids. After conference, nice extra effort. Miguel Torres gets the Vikings on the board early. That drive took 3 minutes, 58 seconds, ended in Pelican Rapids 6. They're going to go for 2 here to try and make it 8-0. But what a start for Pelican Rapids. A couple first down, what would you say, first down snafus that put them back in the backfield for long second downs. And finally, the crux of that drive was on 4th and 18. They got 22 on a huge strike from Larson to Torres. And then Larson found Torres one more time for a score. Forward, and there's the 2-point conversion. Who else? Miguel Torres. 3 big receptions, all converting for 8 points for the Vikings. They run off with some kind of confidence as they strike first here on Chauncey Martin Field. All right, Pelican Rapids lines things up to send it back the way of the Warroad Warriors. See what they can do on their first offensive drive. Coming in to kick for the kickoffs is number 78, Edwin Escobar. This is a new look from the last time I watched. Jimmy Salazar usually does much of the kicking duties. This time it is Edwin Escobar. Give it a boot, and it's rolling towards the sideline, dangerously so. No one touches it for Warroad, I don't believe. So is Laundry going to come out? Yes, it will. I heard a couple coaches down here trying to lobby for the fact that Warroad touched that football, but I don't believe anyone touched it. So out of bounds is going to be what it is. And so the Warriors will take it here. I believe that'll go up to the 40, 35 maybe, 30, somewhere between the 30 and 40-yard line. We'll see where they spot it. And they'll set it on the 35. They'll go left hash. That's what Warroad wants to start their first offensive possession with. Walking out to be the quarterback for tonight's affair is number 14, Brady Fast. Fast takes the snap, hands it off here, going forward, running with some power through multiple Vikings defenders. Number 34, nice run so far here. That's Sam Hard making things happen. And I have to say, if I was naming some football players, I would do the exact same thing that Warroad has done. Brady Fast, hands off to Sam Hard, and it's hard to bring him down. 9-yard gain, 2nd and 1. This is not the same numbering setup as what the program of Warroad says is who the quarter. Fast, wipes his pants, gets a high snap, hands off here to Lund. Lund running through few tacklers, still on his feet, down to exactly where we had mentioned. They're going to spot him at about the 38.5. And the line judge here on the far side is very emphatic to say that it is 4th down. They're going to move it forward half a ball, but it is still going to be 4th down by about half a yard here. fast. Has Lund go right beside him, little shotgun, quick handoff there, right up the middle. He's going to be a tough man to beat all night. He goes and gets 3, only needed half a yard. Move the chains, do the Warriors, and their marathon of a drive continues here. They're already eclipsing what the Vikings had in their drive with 4 minutes about there. Clock continues to wind. 2:35 now on the score on the game clock here. As this running attack certainly can choose, and Warroad trying to rebuttal. Brady fast. One more time, Lund comes beside him, this time to the left. Handoff Lund. Now it's a little bit of a sneaky reverse up the middle here, and that's not going anywhere. Sam Hard trying to get a little misdirection play, and the Vikings wrap him up. Calvin Norton in the right place, doing his job, tackling him after a gain of, let's see, they're going to spot it at the 27. Handoff Lund one more time. When they need 3, he gets 4. Crosses into the 20, across the 25, and I believe those sticks are right at the 25. So yes, chain gang jogs on over. Section in Class 2A. They played Holly, won 17-16. Roseau won 28-8. East Grand Forks, they lost 28-7. Thief River Falls, 34-8. They lost. Park Rapids area, 29-14. They lost. So this football season has been kind of a peculiar one. Last year when we were here with Pelican Rapids, nobody really upset anybody. Nobody really won any games they shouldn't have won or lost any games they shouldn't have won. This year, there's all kinds of parity. And there's all kinds of unknowns happening every single Friday night, which really makes it an exciting time for spectators. Pelican Rapids beat Thief River by 22, and even though Thief River beat Warroad. So that one doesn't really compute. And that's a nice kick there, all the way back to the 12-yard line that goes Aiden Checo D'Souza. He moves to his left, now breaks it, or makes a man miss there at the 25, gets across the 30, and is finally bottled up there by number 42, Aiden Landon. And not before a very nice gain of about 20, getting across the 30 to the 33-yard line. And so, just speaking back on this here, Holly beat Pelican 26-0. Warroad beat Holly. But Thief River is a team that beat Warroad, and Pelican beat them by 22. So Park Rapids area was a very tight game here in Pelican, and Park Rapids beat Warroad. Warroad took care of East Grand Forks. Or excuse me, East Grand Forks beat Warroad, but Pelican beat East Grand Forks. So there's a lot of conflicting results here that are making me think that there's been some inconsistent play, not only amongst Pelican people, but almost everybody. And so that really means what's going to happen tonight, we have no clue. What I know is that number 8, Miguel Torres, gains 8 for another catch. It's his 4th of the night. He has just been a favorite target of Grady Larson so far. They're going to spot it at the 42-yard line, which I think now is good for a gain of 7, make it 2nd and 3. Vikings stayed true to the run in the early going of this drive, of the first drive. They pass right away here. Let's see if they hand it off. No, they stay in the air. Oh, a little no-look. Throw it forward to Jack Welch. He's going to run through a couple men down across the 45. And I thought Grady Larson was going to throw that out to the flat to Ethan Eisenman, and maybe I'm giving Larson too much credit. And, excuse me, that is not Jack Welch. That's number 80, Andon Roysum. That's what you get when you get 2 very tall, lanky dudes out there together. Andon Roysum sitting in at 6'5", tight end. Gets the catch there for the Vikings. and he's just back in for the very first time last week. So this is just his second game of the season, and the Vikings have really wanted a pass catcher in the interior, and Andon Royston bringing that little spark there for Pelican Rapids early. But did you see that? I'm talking to myself now as I talked to my producer, Kerry Haugard. It almost looked like Larson stepped out to throw to the flat over to Eisenman, and then instead went to the middle to Royston. I'm not saying he intended a misdirection there, but I was fooled. And he continues to move the ball here. Another first down. This time they're going to go over the middle here to Miguel Torres. He is tackled after a nice little 10-yard chunk play by number 63. That is not on the program. I got to double check, make sure I had that number right. Yes, number 63 playing like a little bit of a wide defensive end. We'll see if we can try and find that number here. It's not on our initial program, so we'll get back to you on who's making plays out there for Warroad on the far side of the field. He goes over to cornerback now. Not often you see number 60-something playing cornerback. He's against Andon Royston right now. Larson all the way on the other side of the field. Caught. Miguel Torres turns up. Touchdown, Vikings. Another one. Miguel Torres with his 6th catch of the night, and he's already amassed possibly up to about 100 yards and 2 scores. And excuse me, the Olays going in the student section, but a flag called in the backfield, holding offense. So I got too excited. Some veteran spectators, unlike me, saw that earlier and were not as excited. All the fans that were wise enough to bring a chair with a back down there on the bleachers did not get off their seat to cheer, which meant it was coming back. They knew what they were doing down there when they brought that chair with a little extra cushion, and everyone needs that back support. So what we have now is we're on the 34-yard line, 2nd and 11. That penalty brought it all the way back here, 10 yards, and the Vikings will redo things. They have gotten some good space here. We'll see what happens. Oh, this is a little bit of a lateral play here. Caught by Checo D'Souza. He turns it up here, finds a nice little seam, and dives forward across the 25. Near the line to gain. They're going to set it at the 24.5. I don't think that's enough. I think they need past the 24. So it's going to be 3rd and 1 here. Nice draw up there. Larson dangerously so. Put that ball a little bit behind where he threw it. So it was a full lateral there, and Checo D'Souza, sure-handed as he was in that one, needed it and got forward for about 10. Larson has all kinds of space to the left side. Tries to stiff arm a man, but he is drugged down by number 54, Andrew Mayfield. The 200-pound senior brings him down, but not before a nice gain of about 7 or 8, bringing it down inside the 20 into the red zone of Warroad. The 15-yard line is their spot. Looks like they have 2 receivers left, 2 right, tight for Torres, almost in a tight end set. Another run here, straight quarterback keep. He gets down to about the 9-yard line, and so Vikings stay true to their run with Bricker Haugard early. It's almost establishing a kind of run, and then things have opened up in the pass game. Now that pass game needs to be respected, and it seems like Warroad has spaced out. Larson is now daggering them a little bit with his quarterback keep. We'll see what they go to get into the end zone if they can. Critical zone. Everyone knows the red zone for a reason. Our Trevor Steves, the grounds crew, also knew it was important by bolding those numbers down there. The 20, the 10 in pure white. Must have ran out of paint. The 0, that is Ethan Eisenman, catches that one, moves forward behind a couple of blockers, both Bricker Haugard and Torres there to try and push the pile. He gets forced out at the 2-yard line, so it is 1st down and goal. The Vikings set up shop inside the 5, and they're actually going to spot it at about the 3-yard line here. Sticking my head out the window here. Really good showing for the Pelican Rapids faithful. Warroad, obviously, a long haul down here, but they still have a lot of good fans showing up. Move from right to left. Larson keeps up the middle, dives forward, takes a huge hit at the line, but crosses the plane He gives a little laugh to Cale Thompson, who gave him a shot, but not before he was already in the end zone. So that's going to send it to 14-8. Vikings answer again, 2 for 2 on their drives. And they'll try and go for 2 here. We'll see what they draw up. See a lot of smiles, a lot of happy faces here for the Vikings. I think part of it is just to be so happy for what a gorgeous night of football it is. Right now it's 60 and sunny, not a cloud in the sky, and not even a breeze. It's just going to fall down into the 50s nicely. Torres loses the handle on that, fumbles, and he looks like he's grabbing at his hand or wrist maybe. And so Coach Beachy running over to grab him here. And so 2 developing stories there. For one, the Vikings do not get the 2-point conversion. And for 2, you have Miguel Torres now walking with a bit of a limp. Looks like he is favoring maybe a right hamstring or right groin, something like that. A bit of a shot here. So we'll see how his health holds up as this game goes on. Walking under his own power with frustration, see if he can't walk it out and be back into this game. But Vikings do not convert, 14-8. Warroad going to try and respond. Edwin Escobar puts his hand in the air waiting for the whistle. First kick went out of bounds at about the 25-yard line. We'll see what he does with the second. This time it is center cut. Gets it forward to a number 7, Maddox Cole, running forward to the left. Makes a couple men miss. Gets around the corner. Makes another man miss, and a flag comes flying in from the back here. What a distance thrown on that flag, all the way from the far 40 into the other side of the 40. That's like a 30-yard toss. Face mask is going to be called on the Vikings. Man, that's going to send it 15 yards down more after Maddox Cole has a very nice return. Got to the edge. And then tack on another 15. It's going to be into Pelican territory for the start of this drive. Man, just when Pelican has some momentum, they do not get the 2-point conversion, and this kick sends it into Vikings territory. Down 41-yard line is going to be the spot. And they will set up in that pistol yet again. Lund with an eager look like he's going to get this ball. They're going to toss it this time out wide. Vikings are all over it there. They do get across the line of scrimmage down to about the 40, so gain of a half of a yard, maybe a full yard there, but this time giving Lund a little more space out wide. Vikings able to corral him. But that was kind of the story of that first drive. The running attack from Warroad, too good. Lund, one of the reasons for that. The other reason for that is the moving crew up front for Warroad seems very eager, very veteran, very sizey. They're looking good. Number 72 is who I have not mentioned. That is Lane Landis. Number 63 has been good as well. We still don't have his number. We'll try and get this for you guys for the second half. Number 57 also in that mix, Barrett Hontvit. And there's going to be a flag up in the backfield here. I think Bricker Hauger knows he got tugged a little bit on the backside here. And Andrew Mayfield is one final lineman that I have not mentioned, 54. He might be the one that, let's see what the white hat sorts out here. Holding offense. And so just as soon as I give my praise to this moving crew for Warroad, they end up with some laundry on the field that's going to back up their drive after an amazing kickoff return plus penalty for the Vikings. Now it's second and almost 20, probably about 20 on the dot. And so a great opportunity for Pelican Rapids now to try and stop this team where they are. I don't think they've passed the ball yet. So let's see what they do here. One more time, Lund Handoff up the middle. He gets out of one man, but nice hold on to by Bricker Haugerud. Lund continued to get his legs moving, but Haugerud hung on until the help came. Not before a gain of 6, but keeping Lund contained somewhat. And it's now 3rd down and 13. Back to pass this time. They set up a screen here for Lund. Lund makes a man miss, moves out here to the left side, and he breaks out of another tackle. He's going to score. Wow. 45-yard screenplay. Lund, he can run it, he can catch it and move. Another one going the way of Warroad. They knot things up at 14, have a chance to take the lead here. They're going to go for the point after here. And it's going to be good. Good-looking kick here from number 10. That is Parker Mose, and he's had some good kicks as well, end over end, nicely done. It's really nice to have an automatic extra point guy like that, and Warroad cashes in, takes a small lead here, 15-14, and that's what we have with 5:10 remaining in the second quarter here in Pelican Rapids. Vikings down 1. As long as they catch it behind the line of scrimmage, they can be down far. That's how our scoreboard reads. 5:10 remaining in the second quarter. 14-15, Pelican Rapids with a 1-point deficit here. Warroad has scored on both of their drives. Pelican Rapids as well. And the only difference is the 2-point conversion failed by the Vikings and the extra point by Parker Mose good. And he's going to be the one to kick it one more time from north to south here. So the way this clock is moving, this might be the last drive of the half for the Vikings. We'll see if they can take the lead here. Also, the way that Carter Lund is running the ball, this game might move pretty quickly. There's a lot of running on the field. And so Mose, this time end over end towards the left side. They're kicking towards Checo de Souza. He runs up the sideline, and he's knocked out at about the 35-yard line. We'll see exactly where they spot it, but Vikings will take over with decent field position after a nice little 12-yard return and a short kick. That's where they'll set it, right here at the 36-yard line. Vikings will take it. And so offenses have been good. Defenses have been unable to convert. And a whistle here for the chain gang. I guess they're wondering where do we put the little marker there that goes on the 10-yard line, the 40. I think they got it figured out here. Grady Larson. Handoff, Bricker Haugerud on the inside here. He makes a man miss, cuts up field across the 45, right down to about the chains. I think he'll be short. They put him at the, 45 and a little, so that's going to be second and a short one here. That opens up the playbook considerably for the play callers of Pelican Rapids. And in Roysum, all alone up there on his right side. Bunch trip set. Now Ethan Eisman goes to motion to his right. Another handoff, Bricker Haugerud left. He lowers his shoulder and gets what he needs, which is to move the chains up to the 50. And you have to think this methodical approach partially to say, hey, let's score here, and then let's not let Warroad get the ball back here before the end of the second half. They've seen some explosive plays here from Lund, and so let's try and see what we can do. Maybe they play some conservative ball to score their touchdown with just zeros on this clock in the second quarter. Vikings do kick off to start the second half. It will be Warroad receiving the second half kickoff. Eisenman in motion. Another handoff, Bricker Haugerud. He runs through the middle here. He's dragged for a moment. He stays on his feet, still moving the pile as the Vikings moving crew. And now finally, the man inside, Sam Hard, alongside number 54, that is Mayfield, gets things done. And I would say gets things done, or maybe they just went for a ride like it's Disney World, 12 yards. Bricker Haugerud and the Vikings continue to churn things around here. I tell you what, the Dumbo Elephant ride is not very long, folks. It's only a few seconds, and so it's the same type of thing here that I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I did go to Disney World for the very first time this summer. It was pretty nice. And this is a much prettier place to be, I'd say, right now. The fall colors inbound, lots of oranges in the trees, lots of oranges on the field, and some yellows and oranges, all kinds of fall colors. It is the orange jersey with number 4, Bricker Haugerud, getting almost every touch this drive, probably every touch, and these Warroad Warriors trying to stop him. That's a gain of 4 this time. Warriors have been tough to move against. They have, like I've mentioned up front, the center and nose guard is a notable player tonight here. Cale Thompson, I try and give those linemen a little bit of love because it seems like they never get it. The skill players get all the love. Another one, 51, Logan Gustafson, 6'3 senior on the outside line. And it's Grady Larson getting over there on that left side, and he runs into his own man who got lit up there by number 51, Logan Gustafson, on cue. He pushes Hillica into Larson. Larson gets hit by him. Falls forward, though, for a gain of about 5. So gain of 4 or 5 is going to bring it down to the 34-yard line. They need the 32 for a first down. 3rd and 2, clearly 4-down territory. We'll see. They've stuck to the ground exclusively. And do you try and sneak past the defense here, catch him napping? No. You hand it off to Bricker Haugerud to the left. Can you lower your shoulder? Yes. He got down to the 31. Gustafson there, but too little too late. Haugerud with the resolve to get it forward. And that's going to be I see them stopping the clock maybe for a measurement or to reset the chains. Now that the chains are set, they're going to wind the clock. The white hat gives one more wind to get that clock moving. There it goes, 1:59, 1:58. And the Vikings taking care of business on the clock management end. It seems like this will be the last drive of the first half. Eisenman now was going to go in motion to the left, and the ball went off of a leg of the lineman and dribbled to Larson. He just runs down to get on top of it. So crisis averted. Timeout, Pelican Rapids. They have not used a single one yet, so they're going to use their first and talk things over after what was a snafu again. I'm going to use that word twice. I promise I will not use it a third time in this broadcast. But it is now 2nd and 14. And I think it's going to be 1:39 that they have on this clock here. The Vikings still with 2 timeouts. Warroad has all 3 of their timeouts. Maybe just trying to reset the momentum. They have been moving the ball well here on this drive. They got the ball with about 5 minutes, and they've gotten about halfway there in 3 of them. So they might need to bring some intensity, but they've kept the passes in their pocket so far. They've been trying to establish run, continue to get the momentum, and work, cash in that piggy bank on the line. But they might need to tick up the intensity to get in the end zone before the end of the half. And the thing that you cannot have is some kind of a turnover, which is what they were dangerously close to having here on that last play with a bobbled snap or a mishandled snap. And Larson wisely dives on it, says we'll live to fight another play. 2nd and 14. Larson shotgun, 2 men left. That's Roysum and Eisman, 2 men right, Torres and Hovland. Bricker Haugard stays back in protection, throws it over here to Eisman, and did he trap it or did he catch it? Yes, he did. I see yes, he caught it. Not a gain of a whole lot, but, no, excuse me, incomplete. Never mind. Spot it where it was, stop the clock. Third and 13. Vikings here in a tough spot. They did convert a 4th and 18 earlier in the game, so I have no doubts about Grady Larson's ability to make things happen with his arm. Now it's 4 receivers left, 1 right in Jack Welch. ISO'd up there against, there will go left. Tried to throw it over to Marich, a little bit behind him. Dangerously close to an interception there. Mayfield was right next to Tate Marich and not caught, falls down at around the 20-yard line. That would have been very close to, but not quite a first down. But instead of 4th and manageable, it's a 4th and 13. Vikings are again going to have to get aggressive here. And the clock has moved nowhere. So with 1:36 to go in this half, the Vikings are in danger of giving Warroad the ball back with 90 seconds. This time they send 4 men out to the right. Roysum alone to the left. Let's see which direction they go. He's looking to his right. He steps up in the pocket, has some space, makes a throw, caught by Welch. Welch moves forward at the 20. Huge reception there from the senior Jack Welch. Wow, that's clutch time there. Jack Welch number does not get called as much as he like one would think. He's a 6'7" senior coming in from cross country for 3 straight years, and he's been a huge asset to this Vikings team that sometimes, you know, with all the weapons out there, you forget he's out there, but he made a huge play there. They're going to throw a flag for false start. I think it might be on the receivers out there. I think it's either Tate Marich over there or Jack Welch that's going to get tagged with a procedural penalty, moving too quickly. But hey, he moved the chains for first down. Maybe you'll give him one. Give him a little twitch there on the far side. Larson with some time. 1st and 15. Oh, he's taken down by the man, Connor Lund. And a huge time. A timeout's going to be called here by Coach Beachy. And a procedural penalty and now a sack brings the Vikings right back to where they were before, but the chains moved. So it's 2nd and 25. And there's let's take a look at what the time is. It's 58 seconds left to go in the half. Vikings moving the wrong way. Second and 27 is what the scoreboard says. I'm not even going to do the math to trust it or not. I think the Vikings need to get down to the 8-yard line. There's 58 seconds left in this first half. Beachy and the Vikings with 1 timeout remaining. Larson empty set, experiences a little traffic, throws it straight up. Welch in the back of the end zone, gets face guarded. I think a flag's going to fly. It is. Huge call there. The Vikings will take it, and it's an accurate call. Face guarding and running into Welch, giving him no position, was the defensive backfield of Warroad. And there's our number 63 that we need to go find the name at halftime. I will go do some research here, but caught napping a little bit, caught in a bad position. Welch looking to catch that ball. He got run off the spot there. Contact illegally so. 15 yards, and I don't think it's the same as, yeah, is it the same in high school football where they reset the down? They say, no, I believe it's, yeah, they don't reset, or it's replay the down, 15-yard penalty. So instead of 2nd and 27, it's 2nd and 12, 15-yard penalty. We'll take it if we're the Vikings. Larson out to the left, caught Eisenman, toe taps, catches, down to about the 8. And let's see where they spot this. I'm doing the math wrong here. Looks like they need to get down to the 7-yard line or the 5 to get a first down, and they're standing at about the 11. I thought Eisenman, yeah, tapped and bounced out at about the 10. They spotted at the 11, so I think it's 3rd and about 5. The Vikings need to get down to the 5 or 6-yard line to get a first down. It's 3rd down and 5. Larson rolling out to his right, goes out towards Welch again, knocked away by Sam Hard. Nice defensive play there, number 34. Larson going for it all there, trying to get that touchdown, and he does not. And so Vikings want to get into the end zone here, but they also need a first down. 40 seconds, still plenty of time. They need to get to about the 5. It's 4th and 5 from the 11, or from the 10. Larson takes the snap, gets good protection, has time, throws it over the middle, caught by Andon Roysum, running, falling forward down to the 3. Clutch connection there by Larson to Roysum. Roysum with good hands to catch that on his back hip. It will be 1st and goal. Clock continues to run. 1 timeout here for the Vikings. 35 and, the clock is going to stop due to a timeout. I think the clock was stopped for a moment to reset the chains and then stops for good, as now Warroad, knowing that Pelican's going to have plenty of time, now just wants to give their boys a break over there. And I better mention here, Warroad is coached here by Brandon Barker. He's assisted by Vishita Unshith. He's the basketball coach here for I believe the Warroad girls, or the Warroad boys basketball team. So John Larson, Brent Cole, Blake Erickson. So yes, Warroad, and I almost forgot about the fact that both the Warroad girls and the Warroad boys came down to Pelican Rapids for the Section 8AA playoffs early on, down to go play in the Al Siegley Activity Center at this Vikings gym. And so I forget about assistant coach Unshith coming down here. But yes, there's been some frequent playing of two teams that live almost 4 hours away from each other, and it's made for some really good competition, and this is just another demonstration of that tonight. It looks like it's going to end in the final drive. The final drive of the first half is hoping to be the Vikings right here. They're trying to tag it in. They have Bricker Haugerud left of Larson looking to, Larson will keep it, trying to go behind Haugerud, and he's wrapped up there by Connor Lund, and the clock stops at the hands of Coach Beachy, I am sure, yes. Vikings take their last timeout now of the half with 27 seconds to go. Vikings tried to run it one time using their timeout. Now you have to think that you probably want to pass it to be safe in your following 3 plays to make sure that you get at least 3 cracks at it. You certainly could try and run it one more time. Then you have to hustle to the line and try and, move, get your third down play in. But we'll see what they do, because everything's still on the table. Running it with no timeouts would certainly start to get a little bit sketchy when you start to think about setting up another play. And I'm sure Coach Beachy would love to get it into the end zone on this first attempt, but if he didn't, I'm sure he's wanting to use all 3 of his attempts to try and get this thing in for 6. Both teams jog back on. They line up the spot here. Ball is at about the 4-yard line. Larson one more time. Bunch set right. McLean Hovland in motion left. They will throw it out left to Eisenman. Eisenman trying to get a block. He does from McLean Hovland. Falls forward. Touchdown, Ethan Eisenman. What a huge block by McLean Hovland, coming in motion from right to left, sealing the deal. Eisenman being patient with that read, goes inside of Hovland, breaks a tackle, falls into the plane. Wow. Great team football there from the Vikings, and they take the lead right before half, 20-15. Pelican Rapids, they're trying to add 2 to it here, where they'll move their offense out on the field one more time. This time it's bunch again. We have tight end left, tight end right, Hovland behind the tight end. They're going to roll out to the right. Eisenman ISO. Instead, they'll try and throw it over to, looks like they're trying to get it to McLean Hovland over there on this little short out, and it was incomplete. So that 2-point conversion no good. The Vikings will take the lead 20-15. And Coach Beachy sprints down to meet his team in the huddle. And he's mentioning how important to his special teams guys, how important this kickoff is about to be for Pelican Rapids. The first kickoff went out of bounds at the 40. The second kickoff ended up with a huge return back to about the 45, and then after a penalty, brought it into Vikings territory. So with 23 seconds, I'm sure Coach Beachy sees all the importance of what this kickoff could be. Warroad trots out their skill players in Lund, Chamernick, also number 7, Maddox Cole, as mentioned, and number 34, Sam Hard. That's the 4 they have back to try and receive this punt. Flintstone's run up by Escobar goes through the hands of Hard. Now it's in the hands of Lund, and he's broke the edge out to the left. Breaks a tackle from CJ. Block, and they will. And now you have the coach's staff who's got his hands up in the air, wanting more time to be added to the clock. He's asking, he thinks that clock ran off too much. But part of it, too, is the connection. I believe it's probably a wireless connection from up here. Let's give our clock operator the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he took a little extra time between when I heard the whistle and when they put the time on. We'll see if they add anything back here. The coaching staff for Warroad not doing anything exceptional to lobby for more time. 5.7 is, you're in this weird spot, right? With another timeout, do you dare run another play that would be maybe something up the middle or that kind of thing where you could call another timeout before the end of the half? So that is the conversation maybe being had by the coaching staff here of Warroad, the play callers. Do you try and make a play here? And they are going to add time back, importantly so, and almost a lot of time back. 8.7 is added. That's 3 full seconds. It was 11.3. So they're indicating to me that took 2.6 seconds off the clock. That's quite good lobbying from the far side of the field, and that's important because they have another timeout. They're going to be able to run 2 plays here before the end of the half. Vikings have to keep them out of the end zone or keep this chunk play from being so close that they could run out Parker Mose for a little bit of a three-point finish to this half. Back to pass, fast, going over to his left. Up and picked! Aiden Checo to suit. Oh, excuse me. Incomplete. And it's really insignificant because there's 2.4 seconds on the clock. It would have been significant in the fact that there would not be another play before the end of the half. But regardless, Warroad does not have a big chunk play. Warroad does not get into any kind of field goal range. It's going to result in one more play to start this, to finish off this first half for Warroad. We'll see what they can muster up here. Brady Fast, not as big of an arm as Larson, would have a hard time. He could maybe get it there if he got behind it a little bit, but it's going to take some kind of an explosive play after the catch. We'll see what they got. Throws forward to number 3, incomplete. That's the end of the first half. Vikings 20, Warroad 15. Thanks for watching here. We'll be back for the start of the second half and a little bit of a game recap when we come back. All right, we're back in business here in Pelican Rapids. If you're just joining us, Warroad 15, Pelican Rapids 20. 5-point lead for the Vikings in what was a impressive offensive showing here from both sides. And if you have not seen a second of this game, I'll try and keep you updated here. Vikings got the first half kick. They started with a slow start, but they finally converted on their first drive. Touchdown, Miguel Torres, 8 yards from Grady Larson. Well, Warroad came right back down, and it was Connor Lund with a 20-yard rushing touchdown to cap off what has been an impressive day for him, running the ball, getting that first touchdown for the Warroad Warriors. Both teams scored the 2-point conversion. It was 8-8 at about the end of the first quarter, or the start of the second quarter. In that second quarter, then, it was Larson with a rushing touchdown for the Vikings. Grady Larson getting it to 14-8. The Vikings did not convert their 2-point conversion. Following that, the Warroad's next drive was a 40-yard screen pass. Connor Lund once again getting loose, scoring for the Warriors. They did convert the 2-point conversion on the legs of Lund yet again, and that was where they got their oh, no, that's wrong. The first, I was like, that doesn't add up to 15 at all. No, let's back it up. Lund got the first 2-point conversion out to the left. The second one was Parker Mose with an extra point good, making it 15-14. And then the Vikings had a nice time-milking drive, ending with a touchdown to Ethan Eisenman on this left side at the pylon. And that's where we stand right now, 20-15. Both teams have scored on every possession that they've touched the ball. It's been 3 possessions for the Vikings, 3 scores. 2 possessions for Warroad, 2 and 30 seconds for Warroad, and Warroad did not score, I suppose, on that last possession before half, but when their offense has had a genuine opportunity to score, they haven't been stopped. And so that's what we're going to see here likely is the start of the second half. Warroad's going to get this football. Can one of these defenses make a stand and get their team the ball back with a lead is the question. So Vikings squared to kick. Edwin Escobar takes the football from the line judge, and the line judge jogs all the way back his lonely ride back to the east side of the field. And Edwin Escobar will Fred Flintstone his way. That's been his strategy so far. A little bit of Fred Flintstone. And that time gets a little good leg behind it. Squibs forward, taken by Sam Moe. They're going to hand it off here to Connor Lund, the man. He breaks one tackle here at the 30. Switches directions back to this near side, and he's got a little bit of room. Cuts up the field and now trips down at about midfield. So not before. He gets a nice gain of about 25 off a short kick. I see what the Warroad Warriors are doing. Really good selfless play there by Sam Hard to give the ball to Lund and let him cook. And like I had mentioned in the first half, Connor Lund has been probably the most talented runner of the football that I have seen in this season, the 2024-2025 campaign. I believe it belongs to Warroad from what I can see, Connor Lund. The rest of the team's been doing well as well. The moving crew for Warroad up front has been really good. Behind the center of Cale Thompson, 77. We'll see if they stick to the run mostly in this second half. I imagine they will. Toss out here, left side, Lund. Gets a couple nice blocks, drags a defender across midfield, falling forward for about a gain of 4. Second down and 6 it will be. We have a Vikings player down. Looks like Edwin Escobar was one of the men who drugged down the defender. It is Bricker Haugrud who is on the ground for a while, and now looks like they are going to talk it over, and Haugrud is coming off the field, and it's unclear to see at this time what it is, if he's got the wind knocked out of him, if he just got a little bit of a stinger. Nathan Clark, the trainer, is going to check him out for whatever he needs to check him out for. Run up the middle this time, bottled up by the Vikings. The best defensive stand we've seen for a while there on second down. Lund with nowhere to go, and Haugrud had to come out for a play because he got the clock stopped for him, and he's right back in the game. Coming out of the game for the Vikings, 65. That's Maddox Vondra. So good to see Haugrud got the check from the trainer. He's all good. He's back in business. 3rd down and 5. Vikings going to try and put a little bit of pressure on this Warroad offense. They've had very little pressure on them lately. The running behind Lund has been enough to consistently move the chains. Lund runs forward for about 3, making it 4th and 1.5 yards. And that's exactly where Warroad has been. The Vikings are doing okay here to force a 4th down at least. Like, this is a little bit of excitement for Pelican Rapids because it seems like the Warroad's running attack has been able to move the chains on 3 downs or less most of this game. You can kind of see a little bit of dew collecting in the sky, the twinkling from the lights. Beautiful night here at Chauncey Martin Field. A storybook type of night with what looks like it's going to be a tight game towards the end. Total bunch set. This time they're going to go to that short shotgun formation, and they want to delay a game. Yes, the back judge over there dropped his hanky quite softly too. He was very quiet with it. He didn't make a big show of anything. He just took it out of his pocket, set it down. Delay of game it is, and that's huge. That is massive for the Vikings because Warroad has basically relied on their running game, save 2 plays right at the end of the half when they needed a big chunk play. So now it's 4th and 7. The Vikings have a true chance here to bottle up Lund to keep these Warroad Warriors from moving the chains. This could be that defensive stop that we were talking about at halftime. Back to pass. Fast over the middle. Incomplete at the point of attack. CJ Fay coming up to make a play. That pass was intended for number 87, Luke Billingsley. Did not get it to go. Vikings get the ball back to start this second half. Huge turn of momentum for Pelican Rapids, able to set up their offense, which has not been stopped yet either. Now we'll see if Warroad can come up with the stop here to try and play check, keep Pelican in check or rebuttal. Warroad has rebutted the Vikings in every way today so far. But if the Vikings can score at the end of the first half, stop the Warriors, and now try and score again, they might give themselves some breathing room here as we go forward. Haugrud takes the handoff, working behind his offensive lineman, Edwin Escobar. Nicely done. Warroad has a little bit of a stomp on him there. 54 Andrew Mayfield and 34 Sam Hard bottle Bricker back and toss him 3 yards backwards, but his forward progress will get him for a gain of 8. Wow, that was almost like Edwin Escobar was a fullback leading the way, like a lead blocker. Got to the second level, and Haugrud wisely staying right behind him. Really good work from that left tackle. Must have been pulling in and making a play there. Haugrud this time. Nice block from Bricker Haugrud to open it up for Larson, and then that ball skipped into Tate Marich. It's incomplete. That'll bring up a 3rd and 2. Nice gain on first down, allowed the Vikings to have options on their second down play. They tried to air it out with some deep routes. Larson had protection, but good coverage from the Warriors downfield made it so that the Vikings could not move any further. Now Larson will fake the handoff to Haugrud, keep running it himself, and he'll get forward to the 40-yard line. And that's what he needed. He needed the 41, gets the 40, and Larson brought up by a handful of the line, and he's gingerly walking after that one. Larson takes the snap. He'll throw it out here to the right to Ethan Eisman. Nice adjustment by Eisman to catch it with stride. Moving forward. Nice pitch and catch there. And Larson still gimping around here after that hit he took, or that drive he took to get the first down. He looked like he threw that one on one leg over to Yzerman, and a whip it was. Yzerman catches it with momentum. Great body control by Yzerman to catch that, keep his feet, get his momentum going to where that, it's just a short little screen pass, but Yzerman kept moving to where he could get 10 yards, move the chains. I imagine handoff Haugard here, let Larson continue to relax, and yes, they get it forward here. Bricker Haugard running it down to the inside the 20-yard line now for a gain of about 7. And so Haugard's run to the left is a nice gain of 7 again, so he had some really tough runs for 3 and 4 yards in the first half. He's starting to see a little bit of space, which is getting him now 7 and 8 yards. He's really running strong. I bet the Vikings will stick with it. We'll see. Yes, handoff, Bricker Haugard, space up the middle, makes a man miss here, running forward, still on his feet. Finally knocked down by Sam Hard, down to the 3-yard line. The most explosive run I've seen Bricker Haugard have here on Chauncey Martin Field this year. The junior puts it 1st and goal on the 3. Man, Larson took a shot, has been gingerly walking around here for the last 3 plays, and thankfully behind Yzerman and Haugard, he hasn't been needed really. Another handoff Haugard. This time he's bottled up, and blow the whistle. Forward progress is going to be a loss of a couple. In the mix there, number 75, Nicholas Rizlov, as well as a couple other Warroad Warriors stopping Haugard behind the line here. And it's good to see. It looks like Larson walking around with a little bit more of his normal self here. And so maybe they can call on him to make a play with his arm, or they still have options to hand off Haugard. One linebacker here up the middle. Let's see what they do. Escobar, this time an end-over-end kick. He's been holding it back here with a couple squibs, and now a really nice kick there, pressing this team back, getting it down to the 20-yard line. Levi Hillica going crazy, and Coach Beachy, all kinds of emphatic. That's exactly what he needs from his special teams, as after the first 3 kickoffs have been long returns back by these Warriors. Now this time the Vikings swarm on the ball and drop Warroad way back at their 20. Beachy still giving his praise to his special teams group after that effort. Well done, Vikings. And that's where Brady Fast will start here with Connor Lund right behind him. Little pistol formation. Quick snap. It's going to be a misdirection here to Sam Hard, wingback run. And it looks like a tackle here for basically nothing. It's a gain of, we'll say 0, 2nd and 10. I saw some serious cheering down there, almost to the point that I thought maybe he coughed up the football, but he did not. Holds on to the rock, 2nd and 10. Another snap here. Handoff Sam Hard now out to the left. And again, battled up early. Bricker Haugard. And you've seen this team get a little bit fired up today, more than I've seen in previous games. Vikings came to play, brought some emotion, playing with a little bit of anger, that little edge on, that little chip on your shoulder that you are asked to play with in football. And it's almost unique to football. Like kind of like a WWE vibe of just saying, I'm going to be angry at something. Some water boy energy. I'm going to pretend like you insulted my family, and I'm going to come after you. The Vikings are bringing it tonight. And let's see what they can do here against a very good runner. Yeah, he gets the edge here. Nice Connor Lund. He's still churning. Could he go? Nah, there's a couple of Vikings that will finally tackle him down, but not before a gain of about 20. A flag comes in again, and it might be another face mask for these Vikings. We'll see. It was right on the tackle. The flag came in. Yep, and they're holding for a face mask. So another big run by Connor Lund, and that's not surprising. What's surprising is the Vikings end up with another face mask right around the area of their previous face mask on the Warroad 45, and it sends them forward down inside the Pelican Rapids territory, down to the 40. It's almost like deja vu, except the lights are down this time. It's about an hour later in the day clock. But the Warroad Warriors need it. They huddle way back at their own 40, and they run about 20 yards up to the ball here, appearing out of nowhere on our screen. And maybe another handoff Lund here if I was the play caller for Warroad. No, this time it's a sweep to Sam Hart. He's going to try and cut upfield, finds a nice spot here, falls forward for about 7. And this Vikings team now has been pushed back a little bit here lately. Edwin Escobar, a huge piece of this defensive line, has been running up and down the sideline here, trying to stretch out, it looks like maybe a calf or an ankle. And he smacks his thigh pad now in frustration as he's trying to get himself warmed up to get back into this game. I think he will be at some point, but he just needs a little bit more time. He says, I'm good, let me in. He puts his helmet on, and he might be in the next play. Handoff, Lund. Lund up the middle, bottled up. He was straight up and down that time, and the Vikings stop him in the backfield. It looks like Roscoe Stubbs, as well as number 73, that is Thomas Johnson, are in the play there for a big one. Johnson comes off the field here for Escobar, but not until Stubbs and Johnson make a huge play. Lund this time getting the corner. Can someone make a tackle? Checo D'Souza tries to, but Lund too fast for him, and he's finally cut down by Ethan Eisman after a gain of about 10. Gets out of bounds. Clock winds, though, still in this time of the... Well, it will wind after they reset the chains. They do. And so 3 minutes left to go in this third quarter. Lund moves the chain on his feet with another one where he gets outside contain. Another run up the middle this time. Lund bounces it out to the right side here. No one's touched him. Now he gets tackled there at the 20. Nicely done, C.J. Fay. Connor Lund looked like he was about to eat another huge chunk of yards, but C.J. Fay stops him for a gain of about 4. And somehow it seems like a big win for the Vikings, even though a gain of 4 is solid. Could have been much worse if Fay doesn't make that very nice solo tackle. Right hash, Lund goes beside, fast to his left. In motion now, sweep to the left here. Sam Hard falls forward. And now it is McLean Hovland who looked like he went on the ground writhing in a bit of pain here. And the official sets the ball right next to Hovland, and they finally blow the whistle here. And this one looks like we have multiple coaches. And the clock continues to wind, and the white hat. Okay. They get McLean Hovland's helmet off, and he's able to walk under his own power back here. Fast keeps the ball in what looks like a little bit of a broken play, and he makes the most of it. Still on his feet, falling forward. Wow, what it was, it looks like a broken play. All of a sudden, Fast comes forward, and Edwin Escobar limps back into the play. And I'm sorry for being quiet for a few minutes here. The chaos of everything happening, it looks like you have McLean Hovland, they're working on his shoulder, almost like there's a dislocation here, and they're going to work on that on the bench. And that's not the story that needs to be demonstrated. I'm distracted, and what's happening instead here is that Warroad is marching it down the field on a broken play. Vikings are on their heels. Warroad is punching, and so this time it is Connor Lund who runs forward for a gain of a few. And 43 seconds are in this third quarter here. Clock is still winding down. Fast gives it to Lund here. Out of the shotgun, he's bottled up again. This time drugged down by a whole host of Vikings defenders. Edwin Escobar's in there alongside Roscoe Stubbs. Another person in the pile jumping in, number 66, Harley Jacobson. And a timeout's going to be called here by Warroad, as they want to talk things over. It feels like there's a little bit of air out of this field right now, and I'm just feeling everything that's happening here. The Vikings are up 11, should be having all kinds of excitement and confidence, and I can feel the fans here, like half watching the game, also half paying attention to their man McLean Hovland, number 5 down here, where they're working on his shoulder and his left arm here. And I think there's just a genuine concern for what is a great young man, McLean Hovland. They're trying to make sure he's okay. And we'll hope to update you with news that he is healthy and feeling better. But out of the timeout, Vikings here, I've been experiencing a tough sledding Connor Lund all game, and you have to wonder if at some point the debt that is the offensive running attack is going to, for the Warriors, squandered, and that's going to be 1st and 10 Pelican Rapids on their own 5, heading back towards the south. Wow, what seemed like such a build-up to a 3rd and goal, 4th and goal, it kind of got stymied by this quarter break, and then coming out of the quarter, and just such a huge play, bringing it back to 1 possession, and the Vikings are going to take over. This is one of those game-defining drives here for the Vikings. If they take control here, they find themselves scoring on this drive. It's a big ask at this point on their own 5, but they could put this game away right now with a confident action. And in Royston, getting a block here from Tate Marsh, steps through a couple, moves out of bounds up to about the 15. That's the type of space that they needed. Might still be 2nd down, but it's only about half a yard here. Just what the doctor ordered for the Vikings. And now that is Calvin Norton here coming over to the sideline, getting some tape up here around his knee area. So story for Pelican as well is you have McLean Hovland, a consistent player for the Vikings over here, probably out for the rest of the game as they're trying to work on his shoulder over there. Then they have Calvin Norton getting some tape. Edwin Escobar. The one man who's playing like he's fresh is Bricker Haugrud. He's been dialed in this second half. Another huge play. As he rolls forward and he hops up out of the pile. I swear he was sitting down on his back for way too long, and I was concerned that he wasn't feeling good. And then he hops up and out, and so whatever he's feeling right now, he's just taken out for a second. Might be a little cramp or something. He says, "Get me some water." He gets it. And so Aiden Checo D'Souza in the game here. Momentarily out of the shotgun, Larson. We'll see if they don't try another little quick pass. No, they'll hand off Checo D'Souza here, moving forward. He has another nice run up the middle. He gets stopped momentarily, hangs on to the ball. Big hit by Mayfield. And now it's Checo D'Souza getting his leg pulled on here by Edwin Escobar. So Checo D'Souza seems like he's cramping up. So someone put coffee in the water bottles instead of their electrolytes. I don't know what happened here, but guys are dehydrated down there, getting a little bit crampy. But he comes out. He looks to stretch things out. Haugrud's back in. Both of them with very solid runs here of 10 yards each, getting the Vikings right where they want to be and threatening to get inside of Warroad territory. Because of that injury, the clock stopped momentarily, and I see Checo D'Souza rolling out his calf on his right side, some kind of a cramp here. And when I look at McLean Hovland, he looks like he's doing a little bit better here. He's got his left hand now elevated, and it seems like he's able to get some kind of feeling. It almost looked like momentarily he had limited feeling or something, or he was constricted in some way on his left side. He looks more normal now when I'm watching him down there, so that's really good to see. Bricker Haugrud is looking normal again here, running forward for a gain of about 10. So Bricker Haugrud moves the chains again for the Vikings. Sam Hard with the tackle, not before a huge run here, bringing it up to midfield. The Vikings are going to continue to roll through here. Vikings moving crew deserves a lot of credit here on this drive. They've been doing a great job. Larson, quick pass out to Eisenman. Outstretched arms of number 26 there, Connor Lean. Not able to grab that as Larson zips it out. Eisenman is such a sure-handed guy here out of the backfield, or out of the, you'd say backfield. He's more of kind of a slot receiver is how the Vikings use him more often than not. And so here we go. Bricker Haugrud left, Trips left. Jack Welch solo on the right side. They'll go a little screen pass out here to Ethan Eisenman. He decides to cut back to the middle of the field. Stutter steps forward and falls ahead for a gain of 8. And now there's a flag coming in. I think it might be some kind of a hit, late hit of some kind. We'll see what happens here. The officials are conferring down on the field here, and they're maybe talking things over to see if there was some helmet contact, helmet-to-helmet type of situation, perhaps. And you start to hear Coach Beachy bark down here over to Aiden Checo D'Souza. He says, "Hey, Checo, you good to go?" And it seems like he is. He's going to take one more jug of water down there. This is pickle juice, I guess it is. It looks like the label got taken off. I would have just left the kosher on there, but they did not, and so he's ready to go. Puts the helmet on right next to Coach Beachy, and the refs are still talking things over here, maybe talking about potential ejections or warnings. We'll see. And and I think if I heard this right, it was a late hit and then an unsportsmanlike conduct, which are tagged on. In football here, they tag that stuff on here. So in high school football, they do. So that's going to be 30-yard penalty. And is it even half the distance to the goal? I don't know. It seems like they marched that thing right down to the. And maybe that's part of the reason why they were conferring, is they're trying to do the math on where this ball should be spotted. They put it at first and goal at about the 8-yard line. So Vikings are going to have a great opportunity here to put this game out of reach. And Bricker Haugrud gets wrapped up there by number 40. Excuse me, that is 24, Parker Lean. Nice drag down by him, but Bricker Haugrud gets about 4, halfway there, down to the 4-yard line. And actually, they might spot that even inside. That might be about the 2-yard line. It's hard to see it. 3 or 2, just inside of that 2-point conversion line. Vikings second and goal. Bricker Haugrud, untouched. Touchdown, Vikings. 6-point shot there brings it 32-15. And after a back and forth first half, Vikings have been controlling the second. 9:07 to go in the game. Vikings up 17, trying to add to it here. They'll try and convert here with 3 receivers left, Haugrud left, and 1 man right, Jack Welch. Quick pass out here. Eisman again, that little screen play, and they get it to go, but they are going to throw a flag back here. I wonder if there wasn't some tugging, some jersey holding, or a block in the back of some kind. We'll see what the call is. I think a hold is probably the call on one of these receivers out here to the left. That would be either maybe Andon Roysum or Tate Marich got caught. So one of those receivers here got caught getting too much space for Ethan Eisman. And so they'll try and get a 2-point conversion here now from their 12-yard line, or from the 12-yard line. Hand off, Larson looking out to his left. A little bit of tight window there, running to his left, trying to throw back to the right. Tried to find Eisman, wasn't going to get to the line to gain anyway. And that's going to be another no good conversion. Vikings are happy regardless, though. That score puts it 32-15, 17 points, 3 possessions. Puts them in a lot better, a little bit more of a comfortable state of mind, certainly going forward. Knowing this Warroad team has been driving the ball, but they have not really been doing it fast. So it's one of those things that if you're going to ask these Warriors to score 3 times and get 2 stops in the process, I'm starting to think, as a Vikings fan, we're getting a little bit more comfortable here with 9:07 to go in this 4th quarter. Really good halftime adjustments here by the Vikings coaching staff, especially on the offensive end. They've gone back to the run, and really that's been a story here of this second half. Bricker Haugrud and a little bit of Aiden Checo D'Souza really been gashing this defensive front here, getting to the second level. A lot of nice 8, 12-yard gains, sticking with that run. And then when you give Larson a chance and space, he can throw it to Ethan Eisman, and he's been doing a great job there. Defensively, Vikings have done a nice job getting a couple of snaps bottled up. Another end-over-end kick from Escobar. This time it's going to be number 3, Ryan Shamronik. He finds a little bit of space, drags a couple Vikings players up to the 40-yard line. Nice return by number 3. The senior brings things forward. And that's where Warroad will set up shop. If they're going to get things going here, they need to score a little bit quicker than they can. And it looks like Escobar, one more time, coming off the field. He's been limping up and around, and now I think he just went down after the kick, and I think it's like an ankle or a foot or something, but well, now I think he might be drinking pickle juice as well. I hope they have a few jars down there here to avoid the common cold spreading rampantly through the team. And so maybe he's dealing with a cramp, or yeah, they got a roller out for him. So we'll see what this is all about. Usually you see a lot of cramps in the early season when conditioning is down and the heat is up. But we've seen him here tonight pretty commonly from the Vikings side. Escobar looked like he was in some serious pain. Incomplete pass now as Warroad sees the writing on the wall that is this clock. They know that if they're going to try and get back in this game, a couple of passes are going to be necessary. And if you have an incompletion, obviously it stops the clock. So this might be a slower finish than what was the end of the second quarter, which was a lot of running, chewing down this ball. Brady Fast trying to set up that same screen pass to Connor Lund that they had earlier. He catches it, not quite as seamlessly. The Vikings were a little bit involved, and so Lund gets forward to the 50, and there's a little bit of jeering there from the bench here of Pelican Rapids as Lund jumped in, and they're going to set it actually at the 49-yard line, which significantly so is about 1.5 yards short of the line to gain. I see that. So Warroad's going to need another 2 yards here to get the first down. Handoff here. Connor Lund, he slips down, falling back to the 47-yard line, bringing up 4th and 3 now. Oh, that's a loose snap here. 4th down. Can Brady Fast make something happen out of it? And a nice pass on the sideline, and defense there from Marich, and a flag comes out. And it looked like they were trying to get it to Sam Hard, and Marich was blanketing him closely, and I think they're thinking too closely. Lobbying from the Warroad side wanted the penalty, and now lobbying for the Pelican side does not want to see this penalty happen. And after the conference in the middle here, let's see what the call is. I believe it's going to be pass interference against the Vikings. And it is. It is pass interference is the call, and we still have a Warroad player down here. And it looks like it was number 54, Andrew Mayfield, momentarily down here. The tackle for the offensive lineman here for Warroad. I cannot quite remember if he probably, based on his size, I'd assume he might be a guard here. Coming in 57 now, Barrett Honvet. Handoff left, Sam Hard has a little bit of space behind a couple nice blocks here. One of them was Connor Lund giving some space. And so that's a nice gainer across the 35 down to the 33. It's a 5-yard gain. Clock continues to wind, so with a little bit more haste, the Warriors get up to the line here and run another play here, 2nd down. Once again, now that option play, they pitch it out here to Connor Lund. He's been beat up here. As much as you like to think the offensive line and defensive line get worn down at the end of the game, Connor Lund is showing a little bit of conditioning too. He's got one of the most non-white jerseys out there alongside Sam Hard. So he's lost a little bit of that spark in his legs, and as anyone does in this football game, a war of attrition it is. Brady Fast tries to throw it over the middle here to 87. Billingsley not caught. Haugrud is able to help up Billingsley. They pat each other on the helmet there. Wish we would have caught that in our window. Great display of sportsmanship from Vikings Haugrud and Warroad's Billingsley. He trots off the field and gives a high five to 13 Mason McMillan. He was coming into the game here for a couple snaps here on the offensive end. McMillan left alongside number 26, Lean. And behind the quarterback Fast is Connor Lund. Straight drop. Another screen pass here. Lund catches it. He has space up the middle. He gets through, and he's drugged down by a couple Vikings players. And so a nice little screen pass set up here. Getting a big chunk gain, and the Vikings here now dealing with a little bit of youth here on their front line with a couple injuries and Escobar and company. That's a nice pass right there, a little slant action here forward to Chamernick. And so Fast connects there, and now the Warriors have been are going to probably score here pretty quickly. We'll see. It gets down to the 8. I thought he was down to maybe the 3, and the clock is still winding, and they're waiting. Looks like maybe a substitution. They're asking to continue up here, and let's see what happens now. Clock stops. It's first down. It's at 5:56. I think they're going to wind it on a whistle. No, that's play starts, clock starts. 5:56, running forward. Lund still on his feet, and he isn't even taken down. He drags a few Vikings into the end zone and then walks off like nothing happened. Another score for Lund, and that's 3 touchdowns now on the day for Lund. 2 from the ground, 1 from the air. And what has been an impressive personal effort for him gives the Warroad Warriors a bit of life. Still a long way to go here, but a little bit of life with 5:47 to go in the fourth quarter. Warroad now 21, Pelican Rapids 32. Yeah, it's a somewhat important 2-point conversion, but it's really not that important because it's going to take 2 scores regardless of the outcome here. So it's going to be a handoff inside here. Sam Hard, not good. It is now an 11-point deficit. Warroad's trying to climb out of 2 touchdowns. It really doesn't change from if they would have gotten that score. So Warroad does their job. A quick little score here. Took about 3.5 minutes. There's 5:47 to go in this football game. Vikings going to get the ball back likely here, or we'll see what Warroad does. They might be trying to challenge a bit of a onside kick. We'll see what happens on the other side of this timeout. All right, we're back here in Pelican Rapids. Warroad just scored after a 3-minute drive. They're going to try and kick it here. They need to clear the 50-yard line to be able to touch this ball. We'll see if they go for a little onside. They do. Nice sneaky play, and wow, nice take there by number 0, Ethan Eisenman. The Vikings did put out a little bit of a hands team there, and Eisenman up front, probably their most sure-handed guy. If I was Warroad, I would have chosen to kick it to pretty much anybody else. And so the Vikings take over at about midfield, and there's 5:46 to go in this game. And so the Vikings going to try and maybe chew clock. Bricker Howgard's been really good, and a really tough snap there. And he's rolling. I imagine the Vikings are going to punt here and try and play the field position game. So Warroad does their job, gets a quick stop. Clock stops as well, importantly, on that incomplete pass. So it's Grady Larson standing about 8 feet back, catches it, punts it forward, top spinner, goofy bounce, picked up by Maddox Cole, makes one man miss, moving now out to the right side, catches the edge, and importantly, Vikings do stop him here. Man, nice little return in short fashion, and all of the boxes that have needed to be checked for Warroad to make this an interesting game have been checked up until this point. They got a touchdown on that first drive. And then they, even though they didn't get the onside kick, they did get a stop immediately after. There's only 4 minutes. Vikings only took a minute and a half off the clock. Now let's see what Warroad can do with their next second of third necessary drives. There's almost like a ominence to this fog that's rolled in. I thought maybe someone had the pyrotechnics here, but instead it's just oh no! I had such a good descriptive way of saying this fog here, but it's a drop there by the lean brother, Connor, the senior. Man, he had an opportunity to gash this team and really make things interesting, and it still could be interesting. There is a flag back here. I don't know what they're picking it up for, but looks like it was on the Vikings anyway, so they're walking things back here. They're walking things up as if that was a... Is that a 15-yard penalty or a 10-yard penalty? Roughing the passer is the call. I didn't see it, but that's a really bad mistake there for the Vikings. And I think that's enough for Coach Beachy to say, I want to talk things over here. For one, you gave up a huge gash when you know that they're going to be trying to pass the ball. And two, you rough the passer. You cannot be having penalties at this point in the game to, one, stop a clock even on a play, and two, give them 15 free yards. I'm sure Beachy is talking about those very ideas right now. And now that fog that was here momentarily kind of got away, but I'm asking my cameraman, Jaden Peterson, is there any chance this camera's going to pick that up? If you looked up just a little bit for me, tilt this thing up. Yeah, see, that's like this like blanket of fog. You can go back, Jaden, thank you. But this blanket of fog literally covering the top of this field at the lights level, and it's just popped in here as the dew point is very close, just like this crisp, beautiful fall night. Everything about this night is exquisite, and Warroad's looking to make some kind of an exquisite comeback. This is a good time to mention Jaden Peterson, the senior here at Pelican Rapids. This Channel 2 is a student-run video operation under the direction of social studies teacher and video director Kerry Howgard. He kind of works with these guys and teaches them how to broadcast a live event. So not only are you guys able to watch this production from the comfort of your own home, but we have students here at Pelican Rapids who are able to learn what it's like here to have some kind of live mass media production. So we want to thank you for watching here at Channel 2. It's been a lot of fun, and Warroad just keeps trying to make this a little bit more and a little bit more entertaining as we continue forward. They've crossed midfield due to a penalty, and now there's questions about what the clock should be at, and I think they're going to put it at 4 minutes. Okay, so they get it right. 4 minutes on the clock. The 4-minute drill is in. Warroad needs 2 scores. And they don't even need to get any 2-point conversions right. If they just get 2 touchdowns, they're in business. Pass over the middle. Nice break up there by Ethan Eisenman. Shamernick was the intended target. I thought he was going to catch it, but Ethan Eisenman, they call him Ice, came in out of nowhere, almost made a cold-blooded interception, and it was not made. So Warroad still able to fight here. 2nd and 10. 3:54. Clock has stopped on the incompletion. 6 seconds taken off the clock. I better relax here because it's going to be a lot of either big play or incompletion, and there's another one. So another short amount of time taken off the clock, but for the Vikings, importantly so, 3rd and 10 now. If you're Warroad, you still have to commit to moving the chains a little bit. It cannot be complete boom or bust. Well, they obviously in 4-down territory might just try to prioritize getting these chains moved on this next play. And that's a bobbled snap again. This time, Brady Fast, nowhere to go. He's wrapped up. Levi Hillica, one of the members that's super hyped up for the Vikings. Another one there is Harley Jacobson, Edwin Escobar. All the Vikings finishing the job and getting to pay dirt. And so a bobbled snap at a terrible time for the Warriors puts them back, and now it's 4th and 22. They got to get across the Viking head and over to the 38-yard line of Pelican Rapids. Clock continues to wind. 3:12 to go. This could be the final play that's meaningful for Warroad. Wow, he gets out of it, and that's an incompletion, and there's no flag on the field here. Good defense by the Vikings. That's going to be a turnover on downs. Wow, what a nice effort there. Brady Fast. His ability to swim out of that pressure and get a nice throw up there made me a little bit nervous, to be honest here. I think it was C.J. Fay on the coverage, number 18, and he played it true, did not interfere, and kept Sam Hart from making that catch on 4th down. So Vikings get the ball back with 3:05 to go. 1 first down, and they could really put this on ice. Warriors with 2 timeouts left, but certainly with a 2-possession game, wind out of their sails for sure. And I see the charter bus starting to slowly creep northbound here on 3rd Street. Bricker Haugrud here rolling forward, bottled up after a gain of about 7, but a good one indeed. Stays in bound. Clock continues to wind. Very quietly, that bus moves on the top of the screen here in the back left corner, now disappearing. 2nd and 3, Vikings looking to put this on ice. They're going to mark this actually just a gain of 5 here. They put it down at the 35-yard line, so if the Vikings can get a first down, it probably is over. Warroad has kept their timeouts in their pocket up till this point. If they get a negative play, they might do something else. Bricker Haugrud, nice spin move, rolls forward, gets across the 30 where he needed to get the first down, and falls down to about the 27. And you can hear a couple applauds here from the Vikings faithful, understanding that that was a massive first down. And there is a timeout here from Warroad. They will use them as much as they can, try and keep themselves in this game. But for Pelican Rapids, you have to start to feel the writings on the wall, and the celebration is close ahead. Vikings staring victory in the face, trying to improve to 3-4 on the season. They have a first down and 10 with the ball. Warroad 1 timeout remaining, 2:13 on the clock. And it is pretty much, I would say, all but over. The Vikings just need one more first down to make it official. Larson can hand off to Bricker Haugrud. It seemed like there was almost a stoppage in play. Some people were standing straight up, and There's a stop and clock. So Warroad is going to use their final timeout now, 2:06 to go. There's no 2-minute warning in high school football. So the Vikings can basically take 40 seconds on each play in here, and it would be down to inside 1 minute if um, they play their cards right here. They'll have 2nd and 10 outside of this play here. The Warroad Warriors likely to fall to 2-5 on the season, and they have one more game on their slate. Next Wednesday, they're going to go to Barnesville. Talk about 2 back-to-back days where they're going to get in a bus and get a long way south to their furthest region of play, down to Barnesville again next week. So Warroad been traveling the world, and that's nothing new for that team up north. Staples Motley is going to be coming to Pelican Rapids next Wednesday night. And Staples Motley, I might add, 6-0 on the season. They beat Barnesville last weekend to keep at 6-0. They're playing Pillager tonight, so that's a really exciting game happening. Staples right now, the 4th-ranked team in 2A. Pillager, the 6th-ranked team in 2A. And right now it's Staples 16, Pillager 8. Remember, they started at 7. We started at 6, so they're a little bit behind us. Says almost just started the second half here. So Staples, after halftime here, is up a score. That's really exciting. If you can find yourself watching that game, that would be something to see. Other scores around the area here, DGF 20, Barnesville 8. So the Rebels here been taking care of business with Barnesville. It's just about halftime there. Barnesville has the ball right at the end. They're trying to score before half. Perham 28, Hawley 3. Perham wins their game here tonight. That's just a few. I've just been following some of those teams. I could probably find a few more, but the main thing is Pelican looks like they're going to get a victory here, although an incomplete pass stops the clock, and that is costly here. Second and 10 here from the 15. Handoff, Bricker Haugrud, inside tackle. Falls forward for a gain of a couple. And it will be 3rd down and 8. Looking at the standings in Section 8-2A, it is interesting. Vikings right now holding on to the 5th seed, Warroad at the 4 seed, so this is really important here. It's likely that there's going to be the C7 teams on the schedule here, so there's going to be a first-round bye for the top seed. It's looking like it's either Frazee or Barnesville. And then what they're going to be doing here is, with that in mind, it may be that Pelican Rapids is earning themselves a home game with this win over Warroad, because what I see is Barnesville, Frazee, Hawley. Hawley's in at the 3 seed, even though they are just 1-5. They have a win over the Vikings, which is really necessary for this QRF tiebreaker. And then I see Crookston and Roseau. So Vikings, with this win over Warroad, will likely sneak into a 4-seed situation, and whether you split it 8 teams or 7 teams would get themselves a first-round home game. That would come on Tuesday after MEA break here, and I'm trying to do the math on that. That would probably be the 21st of October. So we might have 2 more games here at Channel 2 of Vikings football. And with 23.1 seconds, the timeout's going to be called to avoid delay of game. The Vikings are going to have a shot here to convert and get themselves home here without giving Warroad the ball back. But it is essentially over. Pelican 32, Warroad 21. And we'll just see how this game is going to end here, if Warroad's going to get another chance to run a play or what's going to happen. All right, 4th and 12. Vikings trying to end this game with a bang here. They're going to go out here, rolling left. Grady Larson just bottled up. He'll just fall on it, and that's going to be another nice play for who has been the standout player tonight for Warroad. Connor Lund comes through with a sack here. Looks like he's holding his hand maybe in a little bit of pain, and that's just been the type of effort he's put forward tonight. Total attrition today. He's been all over. 3 of the touchdowns scored by Warroad. All 3 of them came from Connor Lund. 2 running, 1 catching, and receiving, I should say. And it's just impressive to see that effort by the senior. His team is going to fall tonight, 17-4. Warroad out of timeouts. They're going to go back to pass for one more. Coming in for a sack is Calvin Norton, and that's going to be how this game ends, presumably. So the Vikings put an exclamation point into this one. They improve to 3-4 on the season and await Staples Motley next Wednesday night. Warroad is going to be coming back down to Barnesville to finish off their season. They're down now to 2-5. For all of us here at Pelican Rapids, we'll see you the next game on Wednesday against Staples Motley. Thanks for watching.